Welcome to Introduction to Business. This lecture will be looking at Chapter 9, Motivating the Workforce. The learning objectives include explain why the study of human relations is important, summarize early studies that laid the groundwork for understanding employee motivation, compare and contrast the human relations theories of Abraham Maslow and Frederick Herzberg, investigate various theories motivating, including theories X, Y, and Z, equity theory, expectancy theory, and goal-setting theory. Describe some of the strategies that managers use to motivate employees. Human relations is the study of individual and group behavior in an organizational setting. It is concerned with what motivates employees to perform their job. In business, human relations involves motivating employees to achieve organizational objectives efficiently and effectively. A central question for human resource management is what motivates employees to perform. Successful companies provide important lessons about how to treat employees. Most top managers agree that employees are the company's most important resource. Motivation is the inner drive that directs behavior towards a goal. A goal is the satisfaction of a need, while a need is the difference between desired state and the actual state. Motivation explains why people behave as they do. A lack of motivation explains why people avoid doing what they should do. Human relations is concerned with needs of the employees, their goals, and how they try to achieve them, and the impact of these needs and goals on the job's performance. Motivating employees to stay engaged is a key responsibility of the management. Engagement involves emotional involvement and commitment by the employee. Being engaged results in carrying out the expectations and obligations of employment by the employee. A person who recognizes or feels a need is motivated to take action to satisfy the need and achieve a goal. For example, a salesperson whose performance is far below other salesperson's performance will likely try to change his or her tactics to improve his or her skills. Morale is an employee's attitude towards his or her job, employer, or colleagues. High morale contributes to high levels of productivity, high returns to stakeholders, and employee loyalty. When employees have high morale, motivation is high and goals are achieved. Low morale may cause high absenteeism and turnover. Absenteeism can cost the company as much as 36% of its payroll. Many companies offer diverse benefits to boost morale and satisfaction, including involving employees in decision-making, showing appreciation for their efforts, and creating a pleasant work environment. Human resource management can also use benefits as well as daily motivational incentives to increase morale. An intrinsic reward is a personal satisfaction and enjoyment you feel from attaining a goal. An extrinsic reward is the benefit or recognition you receive from someone else. Intrinsic and extrinsic rewards both increase employee motivation. Respect, involvement, appreciation, adequate compensation, promotions, a pleasant work environment, and a positive organizational culture are all morale boosters. According to the classical theory of motivation, money is the sole motivator for workers and can lead to increased productivity. Frederick Taylor and Lillian Gilbert conducted studies of employees who performed specific work tasks, which led to time and motion studies. Taylor believed that managers should break down each job into component tasks, determine how best to perform each task, and specify the output for each worker in order to improve productivity. Taylor suggested that managers link a worker's pay directly to output. He developed the piece rate system under which employees were paid a certain amount for each unit they produced. Taylor and most early 20th century managers generally felt that money and job security were the primary motivators of employees. Managers are increasingly striving to relate pay to performance in order to motivate employees and boost productivity. However, there are other considerations as well. Elton Mayo and Harvard researchers continued Taylor's work and studies at the Hawthorne Works plant and Western Electrical Company that sought to identify what physical working conditions, and workplace stimulated employees to be most productive. The Hawthorne studies found that productivity increased regardless of the physical conditions. This phenomenon is labeled the Hawthorne effect. The researchers concluded that social and psychological factors could significantly affect productivity and morale. The Hawthorne experience marked the beginning of concern for human relations and the motivation in the workplace. Maslow's hierarchy of needs. According to Maslow, an employee is motivated by where he or she is at any given time related to their needs. Managers should understand their employees' needs in order to discover what the most appropriate motivator would be at any given time. Psychologist Abraham Maslow arranged humans' 5 basic needs into Maslow's hierarchy, in order in which people strive to satisfy them. Physiological needs are the first to be satisfied and include the needs for essentials of life, such as water, food, shelter, and clothing. Security needs relate to protecting oneself from physical and economical harm. Social needs are the needs for love, companionship, and friendship, the desire for acceptance from others. Esteem needs related to the desire for respect, both self-respect and respect from others. Competition is a form of esteem that motivates people to be more productive. Self-actualization is the desire to be the best one can be. Maslow theory maintains that needs at the bottom of the hierarchy must be satisfied before higher levels need to be met. Maslow theory also suggests that lower level needs are reactivated. The individual will try to satisfy that need rather than the higher level needs. Managers can learn from Maslow's hierarchy that employees will be motivated to contribute to the organizational goals only if they first satisfy their physiological, security, and social needs through their work. Frederick Hertzberg studied various factors relating to job and the relations to employees' motivation, and concluded that the job factors can be classified into 2 categories: hygiene factors and motivational factors. Hygiene factors relate to the work setting rather than the contents of the work and includes adequate wages, comfortable working conditions, fair company policies, and job security. These factors do not necessarily motivate employees, but their absence may be a source of dissatisfaction. Motivational factors relate to content of the work and include achievement, recognition, the work itself, involvement, responsibility, and advancement. They promote higher levels of performance, and their absence may not lead to dissatisfaction, but their presence is likely to motivate people to excel. Hertzberg's motivational factors and Maslow's esteem and self-actualization needs are very similar. The higher level goals of Maslow's hierarchy and the motivational factors identified by Hertzberg are important in improving productivity. McGregor's Theory X and Theory Y. Douglas McGregor contrasts 2 views of management: the traditional view called Theory X and the humanistic view, which is called Theory Y. Theory X managers assume that workers generally dislike work and must be forced to do their jobs. Managers maintain tight control over workers, try to motivate through fear, and make autocratic decisions. Theory X assumes that the average worker performs to be directed, avoids responsibility, has relatively little ambition, and wants security. Managers who subscribe to Theory X maintain tight control over workers, provide almost constant supervision, try to motivate through fear, and make decisions in the autocratic fashion. Theory X focuses on physiological and security needs and virtually ignores the higher needs discussed by Maslow. Theory Y assumes that workers like to work and will normally seek out responsibilities to satisfy their social esteem and self-actualization needs. Theory Y managers maintain less control and supervision, do not use fear as a motivator, and are more democratic in decision-making. Theory Y assumes people will exercise self-direction and self-control to achieve objectives in which they are committed. Theory Y makes these following assumptions about how employees see work. The expenditure of physical and mental effort in the work is as natural as play or rest. People will exercise self-direction and self-control to achieve objectives to which they are committed. People will commit to objectives when they realize that the achievement of these goals will bring them personal reward. The average person will accept and seek responsibility. Imagination and creativity can help solve the organizational problems, but most organizations do not make adequate use of these characteristics in their employees. Organizations today do not make full use of workers' intellectual potential. Theory Y managers address the high-level needs for Maslow's hierarchy as well as physiological and security needs. Theory Y has gained widespread support and has displaced Theory X. Theory Z is management philosophy that stresses employee participation in all aspects of the company decision-making. Theory Z was developed by William Alchi and incorporates and adapts many elements of the Japanese approach to management. Managers and workers share responsibility, and the management style is participative and employment is long-term. Some have begun to question Theory Z. Theory Z results in employees feeling organizational ownership, and research has found that these feelings of ownership may produce positive and attitudinal and behavioral effects for employees. Theory Y and Theory Z are complementary. According to equity theory, how people are willing to contribute to an organization depends on their assessment of fairness and equity of the rewards as they receive in exchange. In theory, the rewards an individual receives are proportional to the contribution made to the organization. Each worker regularly develops a personal input-output ratio by taking stock of his or her contributions, the inputs, to the organization in time, effort, skills, and experience, and assessing the rewards, the outputs, offered by the organization in pay, benefits, recognition, and promotions. The worker compares his or her output to input ratio to other employees. If the ratios are close, the workers will feel that he or she is being treated equitably. An employee who feels that his or her rewards don't match his or her contributors will probably try to get a raise or leave the organization. Almost all issues involved in equity theory are subjective and can cause problems for managers. Managers should try to avoid equity problems by ensuring that rewards are distributed on the basis of performance and that all employees clearly understand the basis for their pay and benefits. Expectancy theory. Psychological Victor Vroom's expectancy theory assumes that motivation depends not only on how much a person wants something, but on the person's perception of how likely he or she to get it. A person who wants something and has reason to be optimistic will strongly be motivated. Goal-setting theory refers to the impact that setting goals has on performance. Peter Drucker came up with the management by objectives, which refers to the need and development goals that both managers and employees can understand and agree upon. Based on the theories of motivation discussed earlier, managers have developed a number of strategies for motivating employees to achieve organizational objectives and for boosting morale and productivity. Behavior modification includes changing behavior and encouraging appropriate actions by relating consequences to its behavior itself. Behavior modification is most widely discussed application of reinforcement theory, the theory that behavior can be strengthened or weakened through the use of rewards or punishments. The concept of behavior modification was developed by psychologist B.F. Skinner, who showed that reward and punishment can modify behavior. If behavior is positively reinforced or rewarded, that behavior will tend to be repeated, while behavior that is punished will tend to be eliminated. In the long run, rewarding appropriate behavior will generally be a more effective way to modify behavior. Managers have several strategies they use to design jobs to help improve employee motivation. Job rotation allows employees to move from one job to another to relieve the boredom associated with specialization. Job rotation allows workers to undertake a variety of tasks to learn new skills. One drawback of job rotation is that employees may eventually become bored with all the jobs in the cycle. Job rotation is extremely useful when a person is being trained for a position that requires an understanding of various units in the organization. Job rotation is also used in cross-train today's self-directed work teams. Job enlargement involves adding tasks to a job instead of treating each task as a separate job. Job enlargement, like job rotation, was developed to overcome the boredom associated with specialization. Jobs are more satisfying as a number of tasks performed by an individual are increased. Job enrichment involves incorporating motivational factors such as recognition, responsibility, and advancement into a job. It gives workers more control and authority over the job. It enhances feelings of responsibility and provides opportunity for growth and advancement. Managers are using flexible scheduling strategies to meet problems of poor motivation and high absenteeism. Flex time is a program that allows employees to choose their starting and ending times as long as they are at work during a specified core period. A compressed work week is a 4-day or shortened period in which an employee works 40 hours. Job sharing occurs when two people do one job. The company benefits by gaining the skills of two people for one job, often at a lower salary. Job sharing gives people an opportunity to work as well as time for other obligations such as parenting. Other flexible scheduling strategies are being used. One strategy allows full-time workers to work part-time for a certain period. Another allows employees to split their time between the office and home. Some firms allow employees to work at home a few days of the week, sometimes called telecommuting. Usually companies offer flexible work schedules to give more options to employees who are trying to juggle work and family responsibilities. Preliminary findings indicate such plans increase job satisfaction, which in turn increases productivity. More flexible schedules are associated with healthier lifestyle choices, such as increased physical activity, healthier sleep, and healthier sleep habits. However, there may be some downsides. Some have found that working from home limits career advancement opportunities. Also, telecommuting may blur the boundaries between office and home. Motivation is a process that affects all the relationships within an organization and influences many areas such as pay, promotion, job design, training, opportunities, and reporting relationships. Motivating employees to increase satisfaction and productivity is an important concern for organizations seeking to remain competitive in global marketplace. The economic environment can change an employee's motivation. In a slow growth or recession economy, sales can flatten or decrease, and morale can drop because of the need to cut jobs. In most recent recession, many workers feel losing their jobs and increase the amounts they were saving. In good economic times, employees may be more demanding and be on the lookout for better opportunities. New rewards or incentives may help motivate workers in such economies. As always, thank you for taking the time to listen to this lecture. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. Thank you.